Okay, hello. I just wanted to make a quick video kind of giving a little bit of a guide on how we've been doing our Acuity nukes and the things that go into the pre-buff and sort of the intricacies of the rotation and yeah, just talking about what I'm thinking about and what I'm doing both before and during boss pull where we are nuking. So here I just wanted to show this part, which is the final ad wave right before the boss comes out. I have an add-on that is telling me that it's the last ad wave. Blackrose Prison Helper, extremely helpful add-on. I think everyone should get it if they're looking to do Unchained. But yeah, it'll tell you when it's the last ad wave, and then as soon as I see that, I'm thinking about, okay, I need to start pre-buffing, right? I want to make sure that I have all of my pre-buffable stuff pre-buffed that I need to do while I'm in combat. So, for example, here on this, it would be getting Crux and it would be getting my whip stacks. So my off balance tracker, I can see that is that means someone is off balance. So I use my whip, I get the stacks, and I want to use up all my stacks before the boss spawns, just to make sure that I have that extra damage done. In update 50, that isn't going to matter because you're obviously going to be playing a pure Arcanist, but yeah. So here, as soon as the last ad dies, I'm immediately switching over to my pre-buff setup. So you can see an ODS pre-buff comes up. And then here's where I'm going to start the pre-buff. So I just made this quick visual that I wanted to show, just sort of to show off the basic rotation of both the pre-buff and when the boss is pulled. So if you are using a dedicated pre-buff, and also keep in mind these are for update 50 because there's only a few days left of the current patch. So I didn't bother to do a subclassing version, but yeah, so you start off with the Trap and Scalding Rune. The reason why you start with these is because these are the skills that they don't actually start their timers until they get activated, right? So when the boss spawns, that's when they will begin their timers. So you don't really need to worry about when you place them. I think they both have long timers. They aren't going to go away before the boss is spawned in. Then you do your Silk Shadows, or whatever it's called, Shadow Silk. And that's when you... the reason why you're using this is because it is... for the explosion, it's a delayed explosion. You don't really care about the damage over time. You don't really care about the synergy. You're really just using it for that delayed explosion because it's basically like 10 seconds later, it'll do however much damage the explosion does. Then your Endless Hail. And the reason you choose the Endless Hail over Air Barrage is because Endless Hail lasts longer. And because you're forced to do a gear swap, that's why Endless Hail is quite a bit nicer here. So again, if you're not using a pre-buff setup, if you're not comfortable in BRP already, then I don't recommend using a dedicated pre-buff setup because you're going to get stuck in your pre-buff often. It is a place that is notorious for getting stuck in pre-buff. You have to be really quick and stuff. So yeah, if you're not using a pre-buff setup, I would recommend skipping this entire portion of the pre-buff rotation. And so we can start here. So we have swapped our setups. This is where we're going to do Quick Cloak. We're doing Quick Cloak first, importantly, because it's on our front bar. And we are very soon, from this point, going to be in combat. And we really don't want to proc our Acuity early, right? That would ruin the whole nuke. So we do our Quick Cloak here, then we're doing our Scholarship, and then dropping a Caltrops. Caltrops isn't super important to this, but it's kind of the only skill that we have left that we could be using. And then the boss portal will be happening. You'll see the boss spawning in. That's when you want to drop your first Languid. and you can drop the Languid before the boss is visible on her little portal. Then as soon as the boss is visible and that she is able to be damaged, then you want to use your Soul Burst so that you are proccing Oblivion damage with Anchorate's Cruelty on the boss, because that's what's going to be extending the mechanical Acuity. So you do the Soul Burst, and then you Stampede for your Berserker enchant. Then you go to the front bar, and you do 2 flails here. And one of these flails you can actually cut out, but the reason why you come to the front bar to do the flails is so that you start up your mechanical Acuity, so that you proc it, and that this Languid will be doing damage, and you don't have enough time for a beam here before you're going to be receiving Crypt Cannon, and then you're going to drop the second Languid. So here, I just will always do Flail, Flail, and then swap back to my back bar, and then I'll drop the second Languid, and then I'll go back to my front bar and go directly into Beam. And so that'll be the end of the rotation. If the boss isn't dead, then I go back to Flail, Flail, Beaming. But yeah, hopefully the boss is pretty close to dead from there. So why don't we take a look at that in not in real time. We're going to look at that, but slowed down. So I'm going to put on 0.25 speed, and we can just see the pre-buff into what I'm doing here, and I can talk a little bit more about the actual button presses that I'm doing and the way that maybe you have to think about certain things as you're doing it. So here I do the Scalding Rune first, then the Shadow Silk, and then there, as soon as I pressed Endless Hail, here I'll go back so that we can look at that for a second. As soon as I've pressed Endless Hail, I am immediately pressing Next Setup. Here, you can see there is the AoE to indicate that I am pressing Endless Hail. And instantly, I've already changed my setup because I really don't want to get stuck in pre-buff, and there is a delay before the damage and animation will start on Endless Hail. But you don't have to wait for that. You can just swap your setup. It'll still come down as normal. So yeah, if you are using that, then do make sure that you are swapping the setup right away before you see the animation for Endless Hail. So here, I'm back on the front bar. I press Quick Cloak, and then I'm immediately back on my back bar. There, I'm doing Scholarship. You can see by my reticle, it's kind of hard to see, but my reticle turned yellow, which means now I'm in combat, which is a little bit sketchy, and that's why we press Cloak first, so that we aren't accidentally proccing Acuity. There I press Scholarship. I'm subclass, so I'm pressing a couple of my other skills here, but that would be where you're dropping your Caltrops. Potentially, if you're using it, you would use your Crux Weaver armor there as a pure Arcanist, or whatever other skill you have ready to pre-buff, if you have anything else, or you can just play it safe, and here you are prepared for the boss spawning in. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's a portal spawning there. That's where the boss is spawning, and this is where you would want to drop your first Languid. And so I dropped the first Languid. The boss is completely visible. Here I mess up a little bit. So I'm not using the Maelstrom two-hand. I'm using the Master's Bow, but I think next patch the Maelstrom two-hand is going to be better than the Master's Bow. But here I mess up. I do the Poison Injection before I do the Soul Burst. It's not a big deal, but technically I would have preferred to do the Soul Burst and then the Poison Injection. But anyways, I do the Soul Burst, I come to front bar, I flail, and already you can see, while I'm doing my first flail, I've received the Crypt Cannon. I do my second flail because I'm trying to wait. This little timer down here is my ultimate timer on that first Languid. I'm trying to wait till about 1 second left to press the second Languid. And so there I do the second flail, I'm immediately bar swapping, and then I'm pressing the second Languid. So one thing to note about the second Languid here, you're going to see it, but my first Languid will move just ever so slightly, right? If you just try to press a second Languid and then you don't double tap, then you're just going to move your first Languid. So you have to double tap because the first tap is going to move your first Languid. Your second tap is going to be what places the second Languid eye. So there, you saw it moved a tiny bit, and then the second Languid came out before the first one expired. In this patch, that is important because it is doing max damage now for this Languid's entirety. They have patched that in the upcoming patch, but it's still like, I don't think you need to adjust the rotation anyways, because you still really want to get this entire Languid eye within the mechanical acuity window if possible. So as soon as I've placed that Languid, then I'm coming back to my front bar and I'm doing nothing except for pressing my beam. And so this is what I said is the end of the rotation. You can just see my damage going up and up and up. Yeah, we're absolutely cooking right now. And so just a quick note about positioning too. I'm standing very close to our tank Temp, who's giving us a Crypt Cannon, but he's also running Banner. So I want to be close enough to him so that I'm getting the Banner buff as well, right? I sometimes see DD standing back here or back where our healer is. You want to be close enough so that you're within the Banner range, right? So here, Meteor's coming down. If you aren't going to kill it beforehand, well, actually, a note about the first arena, just in general, but this Meteor is going to come down no matter what if the mechanic starts. If you kill it before the Meteor even starts, then obviously you won't get a Meteor. But if you see the Meteor coming out, then that Meteor is real even if you kill them before that. So you need to block this Meteor because you're just playing risky for no reason if you don't block it. And you can see here with 0.3 seconds left, sorry, 0.2 seconds left, I guess. You can see me block. So I blocked the Meteor, and we happened to kill the boss right there, but I was ready to press another Radiant Glory. Obviously, Pure Arcanist won't have an execute, so you'll just go back to Flail beaming. But yeah, hopefully that will be all you need to do in order to kill the boss. Hopefully it doesn't take any longer than that. But that was that. So I just want to really quickly bring it back to real time and show you the second boss. And so for the second boss here, the pre-buff did get a little bit messed up because we had an ad that wasn't coming in. And so I didn't actually get my whip stacks here, but I'll show you that that is totally fine. Even if it gets messed up, I swap directly into my pre-buff. And here, I'm using my Scalding Rune first, then the Shadow Silk, Endless Hail, and I've instantly swapped setups, got to my front bar, press Cloak, get on my back bar, press all of my other stuff, my Scholarship, here I'm pressing my other subclass skills, and I've dropped Languid, and then I do the Soul Burst, Poison Injection, straight to front bar, I do Flail, I've already gotten the Crypt Cannon by the time that my first Flail finishes. I hit my second Languid, and then I'm directly into Beam. And you can just see he is melting because both of us did it really well this time. And there, he was already in execute range by the time that I was done my first Beam. So yeah, that is what the nuke should look like when you have 2 DPS and a healer. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. In the description, I'm gonna have a full build thing on, I forget what the website is called, but it'll be down there so that you can see the gear that I'm using, skills that I would recommend for update 50 and stuff like that. This might not be 100% optimized, but it is at least what is working for us to get these quick nukes and get some free Unchained. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.